Have you ever imagined living in a time in which the courage and the will to live with a pet, if you become a real lesson in love and loyalty? Think of the scene. Someone is coming back to the house, hoping one day that will change all of a sudden. A strange sound, just a few steps in a hurry, and it's a threat that rises out of nowhere. At this moment, in the quiet of your home, if it becomes a situation of real danger, and that's all that seemed to be safe up to, so it's under threat from a shadowy figure, armed and ruthless. You can't imagine the stress of that moment, the feeling of helplessness in the face of fear, mixed with the hope that something or someone to change in this world. Stay with me until the very end, because that's all you're going to find out now. You will be surprised. It is a story that reveals the true power of loyalty and of the unconditional love of a dog is that even in the face of the knife, not to flinch. Picture the scene, a dog who, upon realizing the imminent danger to his master, it responds in a way that defies any logic, fear, and pain. His reaction is instant, pure, and full of courage. It's almost as if it were a sort of hero, quiet, and ready to protect those he loves at any cost. Have you ever gone through something like this, where the presence of an animal had seemed to turn a situation of violence and a lesson in bravery? The story that follows is not just one incident, but rather a bond of loyalty that goes beyond the common understanding. And what is most remarkable is that this story is far from over. Still, there are moments of tension, the hope, sacrifice, and heroism it will trap in the beginning of the end. Get ready, because you're going to see now will reflect the true meaning of loyalty, love, and protection. And who knows, we may get you inspired to see their animals in a completely different way. The journey begins now, and every detail that is going to take you on an exciting revelation. If you've ever been moved up to this, just imagine what's coming next. Each and every step of this story, it reveals something deeper about the connection between humans and their four-legged friends by showing that too often they are the true heroes of quiet in our lives. And it is precisely for this reason that in their opinion is important to us. If this topic makes no sense to you, leave it here in the comments on what you played. Please share your own experiences, or even to them that I was filled with hope and wonder. Your participation is what makes this channel grow, and to reach more people with this type of content, and by building a network of empathy and the inspiration that goes beyond the screen. If you like what you've seen so far, don't forget to like the video. It helps others to spread this message and to strengthen our community. And of course, if you want to continue with stories that touch the heart and inspire reflection, subscribe to the channel. Here, every story is an opportunity to learn from and feel the emotions and connect with anyone who appreciates the essence of loyalty and unconditional love. So, stay with me, because there is a lot more to come. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, because many of the times, the transformation is that we start out exactly the way we view our own journey. It is as if, behind every decision, every step you take, there's a truth to hide, that it often goes unnoticed, hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. And it is this fact that has a direct impact on the way that we construct our own stories, our relationships, and even our way of thinking. Too often we think of success or failure as just a chance, or in the external environment. But the truth is that it all begins from the inside to the outside. The way we choose to see the obstacles as we can understand the difficulties, which reveals a lot more about who we are than anything else. It is at this point that it enters into a voyage of self-discovery that is quiet and constant change, recognizing its limits, and particularly their potential is hidden. Because many times, the greatest transformation happens when we can't see beyond what the eyes see, when you begin to realize that the real power lies in our ability to change the narrative on the inside. And this is where it comes to the importance of open-mindedness, a willingness to question everything you have been taught or what we believe in for a very long time. This opening is that it allows you to discover new opportunities. We can open the eyes to the opportunities and the hidden behind the scenes of everyday life. After all, behind every decision we make, there is a story that we tell ourselves, a story that may be limiting our progress or driving our freedom. And when you realize this, we can begin to make choices that are more conscious, more aligned with our deepest values. But that change doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey in a sequence of small revelations, which, when combined, will form a deep impact on our perception of the world. It is as if each and every decision, in every moment of reflection, it was a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, the greater. And in time, I'm beginning to understand that the search for the evolution of a solid construction and a transformation that we only consolidate if you're willing to look within, and without the fear of facing our own hidden truths. From this understanding, it will all become clear. Our choices will no longer be a mere reflections of what we were taught, and you will be the signs of who they really are, or do we want to become. And it is this consciousness that is the one that opens the door to a new perspective, a new way of understanding who strengthens us in our journey, and helps prepare you to face any challenge with courage and authenticity. Now, I want you to go even deeper on this topic, because I realize that in many cases, the motivations behind the decision is difficult. There is an opportunity for transformation, which has not yet been established, a chance to rewrite our history and therefore have an impact not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. It is at this point that we begin to understand the behind the scenes of our own choices and the impact of the invisible, that they are on the way and the power that we have in front. And once you understand this, you realize that every step you take, no matter how simple it may seem, it is a very important part in the construction of a new reality. The truth hides behind all this is that real change begins with the courage to know yourself, accept your flaws, and embrace the possibilities of a new beginning. Because, at the end of the day, it's the courage that distinguishes between those who stay in the comfort zone of those who wish to transform their lives for the truth. And if you make this choice, we will start to see the world through others' eyes, full of hope and of the purpose of, because we understand that every choice is an opportunity to create an all-new story, a story that reflects what we truly are or want to be. And so, the journey continues, and with each discovery, revealing a bit more of our lives to strengthen our minds and preparing for the next steps that will lead us closer to what really matters, living a life that is aligned with our deepest values and is true to who we really are. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." I now want to go more in depth on this topic, because when you think about true transformation, one cannot ignore the role played by the decisions of daily exercise in the process. It is as if, for the back of each and every choice we make, there is an invisible force in shaping the way, to influence our way of thinking, and, as a result, the impact we have on the world around us. These small decisions, often taken either automatically or by habit, which builds up over time and create a sort of bridge the gap between who you are now and who we will become. And this is where many people get lost on the journey to authenticity, because in a world that is increasingly fast-paced, full of distractions, as well as views of the outside, it's hard to keep your focus on what really matters to you. The truth is hidden. It is easy to get carried away by the convention, on the expectation that they are not from us, or by fear of being different. Each and every decision taken in accordance with what we believe to be the right people, for instance, in the distance a little bit more of our true nature. And at the same time, the same essence, that a lot of the times it is hidden by the layers of insecurities and limitations, is what really brings out the impact, meaning, and fulfillment to our lives. When you think about it, we realize that the transformation does not happen by accident. It was born from a deep understanding of both our own and from a heart of genuine question, all the things that we've been taught or imposed on it. Many of the times, it is necessary to break down limiting beliefs that had been planted in his childhood, in his youth, or even in the adult stage, and which, unwittingly, are still guiding us in our actions. This kind of faith, the more deeply rooted it may seem, they are just the stories that we have learned to accept it as absolute truth. When we were able to open up the space for new insights, we take the first step in the direction of the change. But in order for this change to be sustainable, it requires more than just awareness. It is necessary to cultivate a growth mindset in which we learn to see obstacles as opportunities for development. In this way, the self-awareness plays a crucial role since it provides us with clarity on your values, passions, and limitations. This clearly is the foundation that underpins the all-informed decisions, thus helping us to align our actions with what we truly believe to be the purpose of our lives. And then, when you immerse yourself in the universe of the discoveries built in, you start to see the impact that we can make it a lot bigger than we had imagined. When we are aligned with our truth, we inspire others to do the same, thus creating a network of transformation, which is spread in an organic way and genuine. Each has a story of overcoming obstacles, each and every moment of bravery. It serves as a reminder that it all starts with one decision, one step that we take in the direction of authenticity. And it is this motion that we were able to build on a journey of growth where the learning never ends, and with each revelation brings us to the next level of connection with who we are of the truth. I now want to go more in depth on this subject because it is one of the revelations of the most influential in this process of transformation, to understand that the choices we make are directly tied to our vision of the world. How do we interpret the events, people, and even with our emotions shapes everything that we do. When we started to question this narrative is built, and we seek a broader perspective, the liberation, we open up space for new possibilities. This change in perspective is often reveal the truth hidden behind our apparent limitations, that we are capable of so much more than that. We believe that our decision-making, it can be used in the creation of a reality that is more in tune with our dreams, with the most profound. And if you notice that the connection to day-to-day becomes an adventure of discovery, constance, where each step is an opportunity to further deepen our understanding of who we really are. After all, it is the impact of our actions goes much further than you think, and influence the world in ways that only become apparent when we have the courage to look inward and face our own truths. Thus, the transformation is no longer something foreign, and it becomes a natural expression of our inner selves, the result of a mentality that is fresh and of the decisions of authenticity and courage. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the real change doesn't just happen on the surface. It comes from a deeper understanding of our own motivations, behind the scenes, which often often remain hidden in one's mind. When we first started to explore these aspects of ourselves, we realized that our daily decisions, however small they may seem, have an impact that reverberates for a long time than we had imagined. It is as if each were a seed is planted in soil that is too often not realized to be fertile or infertile. This awareness is essential so that we can actually change our path, because that, in essence, it all starts from the inside out. As we reflect on our own actions, we can see that many times the load-limiting beliefs, those inner voices that urge us to put down, telling you that you're not able to, or that we don't deserve anything better. These beliefs act as a kind of filter that is invisible to shape what we do, and as a result, the opportunities that we have decided to hold or let go. So it's a journey of transformation requires, first of all, a sort of disassembling those old truths, and an in-depth review of all of the things that we accept as truth is absolute from time to time. It is a process of liberation, where we begin to question what we were taught, what we have inherited from our experience, and we believe that it is possible or not. To do this, we create a new narrative, a story of which we are the protagonists are aware of, that are capable of rewriting the script of your life. And in this rewrite does not happen all of a sudden. It is as a result of the small daily decisions, actions that often seem to be simple, but that's accumulated over that time. They have the power to create a real revolution in the house. It is in this movement of self-discovery and a decision that you have found the true impact of a change in the mindset, that if it becomes a never-failing source of strength and clarity to take on the challenge. However, this transformation has also revealed some of the behind-the-scenes that we are not always prepared to face it head-on. The inner resistance and fear of the unknown, the questions that lie in wait, all of this is part of the process of reconstruction. And most often, these barriers seem higher than they actually are, because they are rooted in our own insecurities. It is at this point that the courage, it becomes our best friend, because we need to decide that, to his knowledge, and that we won't let those old ghosts to dictate the direction of our story. Such a decision may seem simple, but its power is immense. This is the first step towards the transformation of the genuine, a move that is more than skin deep, but that pierces deep into the essence of who we are. To deepen this understanding, we realize that the truth is hidden behind all of the change, is that it is not a one-off event, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth. Each victory, each of the decision-making that is aligned with our core values, strengthen our minds and prepare us for the challenges ahead. It is as if we are building a strong foundation, which supports not only our actions, but also our confidence, our self-worth, and our ability to positively impact the world around us. And in this way, we can begin to understand the true power of transformation lies in our ability to see beyond the obvious, to see the possibilities of where we could see the limitations, and to take responsibility for the impact that our choices that you can generate not only in our lives but those around us. So, when you think about all of this, it is clear that the change in his essence is pure. It is a matter of deciding who you want to be, in fact, in addition to the mask, which is sometimes used to hide away our fears or insecurities. It is a journey that requires courage, patience, and above all, a commitment to the truth that is found in all of us. Because, after all, no one else can do for us what we can do to transform our way of thinking and rewriting of our history, and have an impact on the world in a way that only our authenticity, it can be revealed. And this discovery is, no matter how challenging it may be, it is the gateway to a fuller life, a more conscientious and truly transformative. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the journey of transformation, is not only about the changes in the surface or the actions of others. It's an immersion in one's own essence, the courage to face up to the truth we too often prefer to ignore. It's like opening a door to a dark room, or what had, until then, we prefer to keep shut about it, for fear of what we might find in there. And in doing so, we begin to unravel the layers of ourselves that were hidden beneath the dust of our limiting beliefs and patterns, are inherited. With each revelation, the more uncomfortable it is, it's just a step in the direction of self-discovery, more genuine, and that it can potentially transform not only the way we think about, but it's also the way we act and make an impact on the world around us. This transformation is, in fact, the first decision is to look beyond the surface. It is a matter of wonder that we have been taught from a young age, to challenge the stories we tell ourselves about who we are or what you can achieve. Many of the times, we carry out a narrative that has been constructed by others, because of past experiences or even limitations they don't even realize. But when we decided to open up the way to the truth that is hidden, we can begin to understand that we all have the power to rewrite his story. It is a journey of courage, yes, in the sense that it requires that the desconstruamos that has been imposed on that face our deepest fears, and at the same time, we are opening up space for a new perspective, more in tune with who you really are or want to be. And in the process, the mind plays a very important role. It is the soil where the seeds of change planted. An open-minded, responsive, and aware of is able to transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. When we see the difficulties as a lesson to understand understand that failure is a part of the path and that every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new, it will all become lighter in weight. The real transformation happens when we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with a clear view of purpose, letting go of the doubts in the lock and embracing the authenticity of what sets us apart. In the behind the scenes of this journey, there is a truth to hide. Few realize it's the biggest transformation happens from the inside to the outside. Do not point the only change that is external or search results on the surface if internally we still have any doubts, insecurities, or a narrative is negative about ourselves. It is at this level that is deeper than the magic happens. Where do we make these decisions? And the choices become more and more aware of and aligned with what you truly want to create. When you can't do this in-house transfers, everything around you begins to change in a way that is more natural, more organic, because we fight against ourselves and we act from our heart with authenticity and impact. That connection between the inside and the outside is what is the difference between a change is a passing of a true transformation. It is as if the mess in our minds, we are also moving into the roots of our being and to strengthen the things that sustains us and gives meaning to our actions. And at the same time, this move reverberates in our way of looking at the world in the course of our daily decisions, the way you deal with people, and the ability to make an impact in a way that only our past, with all its authenticity, has been able to provide. It's a journey of uncovering your own potential and to discover that we are much more than what we've been taught or what you believe it to be. For this reason, it is crucial to understand that the transformation is not a final destination, but an ongoing process. There are always new layers to be discovered, and new stories are being rewritten, new standards are being met. With each step taken in the direction of us, it reveals a deeper part of who we are and what we can do. And in the movement's true power emerges, the power you come to the genuineness of the alignment between the way we think, feel, and do. So, on our journey of growth, it becomes a true work of art, shaped by the choices we make, for our deepest desires, and through the impact we want to leave you out in the world. And it is during this encounter with our friends, we find true motivation to move forward, even in the face of the challenges that will inevitably arise along the way. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the transformation that you are looking for, is not something that happens at one time or another, or simply because you want to or need to change it. It will require a deeper understanding of our own layers, the things that often remain hidden beneath the surface of our everyday lives. When we begin to explore those layers, we see that a lot of our decision-making, standards, and beliefs that are deeply rooted in the stories we have learned in the course of a lifetime, and many of them unconscious. These stories have shaped our worldview, our limitations, and even our self-worth, many times without our realization. The truth is hidden. It is that we are our own biggest obstacle. The freedom to change only occurs when we are able to identify those parts built in, when we are faced with the shadows that we have for those that would prefer to ignore or hide, even from ourselves. In this process, the mindset of growth turns out to be a very powerful tool, as it encourages us to question our own certainties and to open up space for new possibilities. When we understand that our decisions are shaped by narratives that built it, we started to work on them, rewriting the script of what we've been taught since he was a child, or even traumatic experiences that have left a deep mark. And then comes the impact of it all on our journey of transformation. Every conscious choice that we make, each step taken in the direction of the truth, are contributing to a paradigm shift. With a turn of the key, it shows the kind of potential that was always there, waiting for just the right time for you to be awake. It is as if from behind a curtain, he was hidden in a version that is more authentic to ourselves, to one that can only reveal itself when we take the courage needed to face the risk. Your courage will often come to the realization that we are not alone in their quest. There is a greater power with a connection to the universe, and that drives us to find our true purpose. To unravel those behind the scenes to internal, we have become more and more aware of the impact of our actions to generate, not only in our own lives, but also for those that are around us. This understanding extends to our responsibility for what we choose to do with your time, with our words, and with our actions. From that moment on, the journey of self-discovery becomes a real adventure, an adventure that requires dedication, patience, and, especially, self-love. And it is in this movement of self-discovery that is found in the revelations of the most valuable ones, the ones who will change the course of our history and will enable us to build a life with more meaning, in line with our deepest values. However, this journey is not linear. It isn't always easy. Oftentimes, it requires us to face our own truths to the most unsettling, that we will confront long-held beliefs, which over the decades, we have been limited. It is the process of reinvention that requires the courage to let go of that which no longer serves you. What is stopping us from moving forward? And on this journey, with the support of an open-minded, with a reflection of a sincere and genuine connection with our inner selves, are essential. After all, change is first of all an act of love for our lives, a decision to honor who they really are, even if it means challenging the status quo or to confront the resistance, which often comes from the inside out. The discovery of the self in this connection, a more in depth with the truth that is hidden will eventually generate a long-lasting impact, one that spills over into every area of our lives. How we think, act, relate to the world is the one that changes. And at the same time, we began to realize just how much we're able to have a positive impact on the environment and our surroundings, inspire others to also seek their own truth. It is a string. The transformation begins within and radiates out, and that, if nurtured by the choices, you can make a great message, but very powerful, in the way that we see our possibilities and limitations. This is a journey, so it's a chance to rewrite our history and transform our limiting beliefs to be a source of strength and awaken to a new way of understanding what drives us to achieve what once seemed out of reach. When we begin to understand the impact that our decisions have on the formation of the product, it changes everything. Every step you take, every decision, it will be a very important part in the construction of the new section. And even though the path to it is challenging, it's the feeling of being in line with the truth. It becomes all the more lightweight, more authentic, and full of meaning. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the true transformation happens when we begin to understand that the choices we make are not just individual stocks, but a reflection of the mind, which very often, it is rooted in the beliefs in the unconscious." And that is exactly where the magic starts to happen. The desconstruirmos these patterns of mind, or both. We opened up the space for a new narrative, one that truly represents who you are, in fact. This is a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey behind the scenes of your own mind, where the stunning revelations can happen at any time, by showing that much of what we believe to be true is, in fact, the construction of the social, cultural, or even a family member. And in the process of this discovery, we realized that we could rewrite our story, setting our own decisions on our new understandings. A lot of people spend years living in a kind of autopilot, believe that their actions are determined by external factors, or by a chance, which I never seem to be positive. But the truth is hidden. It is that, in essence, we are all the architects of the impact of our emotions, and to the best of our abilities. And this realization is liberating. When we understand that we can influence our environment just by changing our attitude and mental, we begin to realize that each and every choice, however small it may seem, has the potential to have a profound impact on our way. For example, the decision to take on a fear of the old, to take responsibility for that before you evitavamos, or to search for a connection as real with someone important to you. All of it is a work that contributes to our development in the training of the mind stronger and more aware. And here comes one point that is often missed: the ability to take behind the scenes and behind our conscious decisions. It is these small actions, often invisible to the eyes of the one who is from the outside. The building is the reality of the way, quiet, yet extremely powerful. True transformation comes when we begin to pay attention to those details and to question our own motives. Why did we choose to act in a certain way? What are the beliefs we have been feeding? These questions seem simple, but they have the potential to disrupt the entire structure of the mind, which keeps us from moving forward. And, to make this effort insight, we see that the truth is hidden, often in our own story, the story we tell about who we are and what they deserve. To unravel those behind the scenes to internal, we are able to make choices that are more aligned with our values, that have more or less than what we truly want to accomplish in life. And that shift in perspective, that is, as an open door to a new way of life, which is lighter and more authentic. It is at this point of our journey, takes on a new meaning in it, because we realize that we are no longer at the mercy of external factors, but they do have the power to make an impact just by changing what's going on inside of us. And this change, in turn, echo the world around us, influencing people, situations, and even of our own destiny in a way that seemed to be impossible. With the understanding that it all starts in our mind, it gives us a freedom that is huge, because it allows us to consciously choose what type of impact you want to create. Not only is it great or actions of radical change, but a series of small daily decisions that, taken together, make up the history of the transformation. And when you understand it, you can feel confident in moving forward in the face of adversity, because we know that each step is an opportunity for you to adjust to the root and align your energy to what really matters to you. It is a journey of self-discovery, of revelation, which leads to a more fulfilling and aligned with our deepest truth. And in the process, we discovered that the most significant impact is the one who is born of the Spirit is strengthened, a conscious decision to be the best version of yourself each and every day. On the other hand, the journey is non-linear, and often the face of doubt or resistance that challenge us to stay on the path. Yet it is precisely in these moments that we need to remember that the greatest impact, it is on the persistence, the courage to continue, even when it seems tough. And it is this resistance often comes from an inner voice, which is doubtful. It says that it is not possible. Do you insist on keeping your comfort zone? And so, once again, comes to the importance of revisiting our beliefs and question what we've been taught, and to seek in our lives with the strength to carry on. Because deep down, we know that real change begins with the courage to look within, to accept our own imperfections, and in turn, the one that needs to be changed. It is in this movement of self-transformation self-transformation, which we find out the true impact of the one who really makes a difference not only in our own lives, but also the impact it can create in the world around us. And then, when you make the connection deeper, we realize that every decision in life is a seed of a new life, a chance for us to renew our story and to have an impact from the inside to the outside in a way that fulfills the purpose and hope. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the true transformation doesn't just happen on the surface, under the action of visible or external changes, which often appear to be the main focus. It is in essence what happens there, in the very core of our way of thinking, our way of looking at the world and interact with it. It is in the internal space of the house where you start to gain a new perspective and a clearer picture of what's really important, which is long-lasting, and in fact, it brings meaning to our journey. When we get to this deeper level, we can begin to understand that every choice we make is like a seed sown in the fertile soil of our consciousness, is able to grow and to transform all of reality. And understanding this a lot of times reveals the true, hidden, what is the impact you want to create in the world. It depends, first of all, the impact of what we allow to happen in the US. Transformation, then, is no longer a pursuit of external and internal developments ongoing. It is as if we are dismantling of the layers of a skin, which for a long time we hide who we really are. And in doing so, we begin to see more clearly our own limitations and the patterns of behavior that, in the trap, and most importantly, our potential is hidden. This is a journey of self-discovery in fact. It is a conscious effort to align our actions with our inner selves more fully. And in it, we discover that our everyday decisions, as low as they seem to have a direct impact on our growth trajectory, and the way that you can have a positive impact on the world around us. When you immerse yourself in the process, we came to understand that the most lasting impact doesn't come from the actions of jurisdiction, as well as the big gestures and isolated, but the consistency of a mindset that cultivates strong values and a vision of purpose. It is a kind of processing to be silent, to what happens behind the scenes of the mind, where thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are woven together in a web that is who we really are. And it is precisely in this area that we can make an adjustment to reprogram our beliefs deeply rooted in and create a new narrative for your life. In this narrative, in turn, influences every choice, every relationship, every step we take in the direction of our dreams, more of the deep. This is an inner change, which gives us the strength to withstand the storms of life, which will help us to keep focus, even in the face of difficulties, and to which, at the end of the day, we can construct a history of the impact of the genuine article. It is not a matter of perfection, but of authenticity, and the courage to take control of your own transformation. And, in doing so, we realize that we are more closely aligned with what really matters, and that our actions have the intention to make more conscious, and that is the impact that we leave on the world. It is, in fact, the extent of the impact that we allow that to happen in the US. This deep connection between the internal and the external, it reveals the essence of the journey of transformation, the one who leads us to discover who we are, in fact, and to have a lasting impact on the lives of those around us. Now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the connection between self-transformation and the impact that this is one of the major revelations. What can we do about ourselves? When we realize that our inner change is the catalyst for a change in the external significantly, it all takes on a new meaning. We fail to see the obstacle as a mere obstacle, and we see them as opportunities for growth, learning, building our way of thinking. Every challenge is an opportunity to test our deepest beliefs, from the reaffirm our core values and strengthen our resolve. It is in the process of coping with what we perceive to be our own conscious decisions that have the power to shape our history in a way that I never could have imagined to be possible in a story before, and it seemed to be left to others, but it's now becoming more and more of our reality. The journey of self-transformation is, in fact, it is a journey of courage, of honesty with oneself, and the willingness to reinvent ourselves each and every day. It is an invitation to look inward, to face our own shadows and embrace our full potential much greater. And when you do that, we have become the agents of change that reverberates in addition to our own place, thus providing a positive influence to all that you touch. This is the beauty of understanding the impact of a true, born from the mind, renewed and made a decision every day to be better, to do better, and to contribute in a way that is truer to the world. When we take this one step further, we come to realize that our story is a work of art in the constant construction of a narrative that we can rewrite at any time. Just pick and choose with an open heart in the right direction. And if you think about all of this, it becomes clear that it's all in your authenticity and the willingness to transform from the inside out, from the back of our actions, a genuine expression of what we believe to be the best for you and to all all that are around us. True transformation is not a finish line, but a walk on the continuous evolution that challenges you to each and every day, more aware of, more strong, and more in tune with the impact that we want to leave behind. It is in this movement that we find true freedom, the freedom to be who you truly are and to help you with the very best of ourselves to the world. That, too, is in a state of constant transformation. And in this way, all that really matters is the decision to change, to evolve, and the impact on it, knowing that it all starts in our mind, in our very essence, our truth, the more it hides. After all, it is the journey, the more powerful it is, the one that begins inside of us and radiates to everything around us. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." I now want to go more in depth on this topic, because they understand the power of our decision-making, and the true essence of transformation requires a journey of self-discovery, that it is not always easy, but it is certainly poor. Many times when we are so stuck in our routines, our limiting beliefs and opinions from outside, that we forget that real change begins with the courage to break down what we believe to be the identity of the decision. In this relation, it is actually a kind of release. It's a chance to look inside, honest, and accepting that no matter what our history is marked by obstacles, it is also an opportunity to rewrite a chapter to be more in line with who you really are or want to be. In this procedure, our mind acts as a sort of a battlefield, where the old patterns try to resist the new opportunities. It is as if, in the course of time, to create a kind of a wall, invisible to all around of our true essence. This is a protection that, in fact, turned out to be a prison. The big revelation here is that the prison is being built by our own hands, so our decision-making, day-to-day, to accept or reject certain ideas about who we are and what we can do. And, at this point, many people do not realize that the release will only occur when we decided to look into it with sincerity, and to confront our fears, and to open up the space for innovation, growth, and authenticity. Transformation, therefore, is not an isolated event, for a change of scene, which takes place on one day to the next. It is an ongoing process, a journey of small, everyday decisions that add up to create a profound impact on the way we think, feel, and act. Every choice you make along the way, this is an opportunity to strengthen our minds, expand our consciousness, and to challenge what we thought to be our truth. It's an exercise in endurance, in which we learn to dissolve away all the doubts and all the limitations that are imposed by society. They often want to be predictable and safe in your comfort zone, even if that zone is to keep us trapped in a surface of ourselves. At the same time, this is a journey of transformation. It requires a certain courage to embrace the unknown. Because a lot of times, what is stopping us from moving forward, it's just the fear of failure, and the question of if we are unable to change or achieve what we want to achieve. But the truth is hidden behind all this, is that the greatest impact comes from within, not from a conscious decision to be in line with the truth, even though truth to be uncomfortable or challenging. When we are able to accept this reality, you start to realize that our actions are no longer merely reactions to the external environment, and will reflect a new look for those who actually have decided to turn their story. It is an internal movement that reverberates with the outside world, creating a new narrative of hope, strength, and self-confidence. And at this point, with the understanding that everything is connected, has become even more apparent, because it's the journey of self-transformation is not just about a change of behavior, but to understand the impact that our decisions have on our own lives and in those around us. Every action, every thought, whether positive or negative, for each choice to move forward or give up, to build a network of invisible impact that will influence our reality. And, by acknowledging it, we come to realize that there is no separation between our personal evolution and the world around us. All it's an extension of who we are, one of the signs to direct our thinking and our actions. This is where the real transformation is revealed. It is a big achievement in a given moment, but on a daily renewal, a practice of self-awareness and decision-making. It is an attitude of life which takes courage, persistence, and a genuine desire to get into the true. Because, after all, the greatest revelation that is where the real change happens when you decide to really take control of our story, in defiance of the limitations that we have created, and embraced the opportunity to become better versions of ourselves each and every day. And in doing so, we noticed that all of the impact that we want to create the world start, first of all, in all of us. This is the journey of the most powerful of them all, the one that leads us to the understanding that one of the main protagonists of our own, a transformation. If you've read this far, I want to thank you for the follow-up story to the very end. Every so often, we get lost in the busyness of day-to-day and forget that it is the first step to change anything in the world. It starts within each and every one of us. And it is precisely in this connection that makes all the difference. And you understand that every little action, every thought, more self-aware, it has greater impact than you think. If you get this message, it made sense to you. Just leave a comment saying, "I'm with you till the end of love. Therefore, we are unable to exchange for this power," and to know that we are on the same page. Oh, and if you found this content helpful, a like and light, it helps to strengthen this connection by showing that the one that was shared with you here makes sense to you. After all, we build in this space, and thinking to deliver deliver something of value, it helps you to reflect and move forward together. And of course, if you like what you see and wish to continue on this journey, there's a video right here on the side, which complements this subject. You click on it and still am there. I am sure you will like it. In the end, each step we take on this journey is an opportunity to learn more about it, to understand it better, and to make a difference, however small they may seem. Thank you for being here until the end. I hope that this talk has inspired you to follow a belief in its potential to change the world, starting from the inside out. Until the next video.